all you subscribers on Valentine's Day today. So I stop at this little party shop along my road home in the hood just to see what the prices are on these little Valentine's things, right? And you know that big huge monkey I got Caitlin? I paid $30 for that at Albertsons, right? Which is a little much. But at this place, the same exact size stuffed animals, they have bears and whatnot, and the guy comes up to me, he says, what you want? He says, he goes, these are $100 in the store, but for you, 50. I'll give it to you for 50. I said, oh, well, I got one just like this for 30. Oh, no, too expensive. No, they're $100. I said, no, I got one for 30. So he starts showing me these other things, and the prices continue to stay way overpriced. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. Bye-bye. Seriously? Oh, but for me, you'll only mark it up 150% instead of 400%. Think I'm stupid? That's why nobody's buying your stuff. Okay, so it's just one of those days, man. I mean, it's beautiful out. Nothing really is going on that's to speak of, and yet I'm troubled. I'm seriously troubled. You know, this is why it's hard for me to function throughout the day, because the slightest mention of anything that brings up memories of my, whether you want to consider it adulthood, childhood, whatever, it just does, there's no way to stop it. You know, once it starts, it's like this overflow of information that just comes pouring down, and to this day I have not found a way to switch it off. I mean, in a sense, like Caitlin, when I pick her up from school, she's kind of like a shut-off switch, because I instantly go into mommy mode. But there's times where even that doesn't shut the switch off. It just sort of slows it down a little bit. So at least I'm thankful for that, because I wouldn't be able to function as a parent if I had to deal with the way this is, like, constantly, all the time. You know, and it's like living in a bubble or something. It's like living inside a plastic bubble, inside my own world, among everyone else, and it's a see-through bubble, so nobody can see the boundaries, but I can feel them. And you know, to everyone else around, it's, you know, it appears that there's nothing wrong and nothing out of place and nothing out of the ordinary, and yet living inside this body, I feel like everything's wrong sometimes. Just everything's off. You know, having these issues and having to deal with them on a daily basis is just, it's definitely not ever easy, that's for sure, but it's a constant struggle sometimes, and people don't understand. They just assume that, oh, that person's crazy. Like, if you're mentally ill, they just assume that, oh, you're crazy, or you're fucked up, or you're, I don't even know what I'm saying, but it's like taking everything that's normal and average and multiplying it and magnifying it and enlarging it and expanding it. And I used to use this particular example when I would try to explain what it's like. And I would say that imagine yourself in like a Best Buy, in one of those rooms that has the displays of the radios and stereos and TVs, right? And you got all these displayed around you. And now imagine that was really smart. Imagine that you are the person standing in this showroom, and that your brain is all the TVs and the radios and the stereos and all that, and picture every single one of them on a different channel and on a different level of loudness. All the televisions, all the stereos, all the electronics, and they're all on a different channel, a different station, and they're all playing at the same time at different levels of loudness. And that's how my brain is. Like, that's how it is sometimes. I feel like I'm standing in the middle of my brain, and there's just all these different pictures going on, flashing on, and different stations and radio stations, and they're all at different levels of loudness, and they're all kind of just playing at the same time. And sometimes I can tune in on one of them and kind of pay attention to that one, and sometimes, and then I get distracted and move over to this one, and that's my comparison to how my brain works with these memories and these constant flow of information that's always going through my head. Wow. Oh, I just drove by somebody, lately they've been building some makeshift homes out here on the street, and there was one that was kind of turning into like a 3-story apartment building. Looks like somebody trashed it last night because it's just torn up and all over the sidewalk. What the hell did I just run over? So yeah, this. Oh, look at that. It's almost time to go get Caitlin at school already. In fact, it is time to go get Caitlin at school already. Dang it. How did that happen? I thought I had like an hour and a half. I mean, it is her earlier day, so that's part of it. So now I'm turning around to go get a parking spot at her school so that I don't have to walk 3 miles. And see how crazy it's gonna be today over here. So it's hard to stick with it, it's hard to stay with any one thought sometimes because of that reason. There's just so many different things flying at me from so many different directions, and I either have to shut it all off and block it all out, which usually isn't a good thing for me because it usually ends up affecting me different ways when I do that. Like, I either get irritated for no reason, or I'm on an emotional roller coaster for no reason, or I don't know, it's tough to explain. But those of you out there who experience mental illness like me and experience these types of issues, you know what I'm talking about, and you know exactly what I'm describing, even though it might not make any sense to someone else. I know that there are the listeners out there, or the viewers out there that are listening and are watching this that completely get it. Like, some days I'm just walking around saying to myself, what the fuck? Can anything just be easy for just a minute? Does everything have to be complicated? Like, even the simple tasks, And then there's other days where, like, I'm completely cool and, like, nothing in the world could fuck up my good place or whatever, there's other days where I feel like I can't even deal with the smallest things. And I want to just crawl under a rock somewhere and wait it out. Okay, oh look at that, we have some parking up at the top of the street. That's because I'm over here early. Cool. I think I'm gonna park on the other side though, not this side over here, because that way I'm heading home and I'm not going against the traffic. So I'm going to park over here and wait to go get Caitlin. It's only about 15 minutes anyway. Sit here and check my email and chill out for a minute. I really don't feel like getting into anything heavy right now. I feel like my brain's on overload. And I've got to kind of get my head back in the space of normality for a little while, because I got to go to work after I drop Caitlin off, so... or after I bring her to school and then drop her off. So it's sort of like a preparation of putting away all the head stuff so I can function. Because I know that I haven't shared all that much information just yet. But enough that my brain's, you know, being triggered by a lot of it. I think what I'm going to do too is I think I might take out some of my written material and share my story, you know, that way as well. As I'm on video, I can read from it, because sometimes I get too scattered and my brain just doesn't allow me to continue on in a manner that anyone could really understand or follow the story. So I think that I might attempt to use some of my writings that some of the writings that I've attempted to put my book together. I think I'll take some of those out and like read off of them and use it as kind of like a guideline to trigger memories and kind of stay with something. Because I want people to be able to follow it to, you know, to some degree, so that it's not just information that's coming flying from all different directions that you can't really soak in or absorb and not really understand it or follow it. So I think that's going to be my a tool that I use to try to help get this out, so that you viewers are not being thrown in 50 million different directions at the same time, because that's my head. 15 million directions at the same time. So I will get back to my story at another time. The next few episodes are going to be going along with the daily routines. I still haven't found anything for Caitlin, which is kind of a bummer, but I'll get her something while she's at daycare. I already gave her Valentine's Day gift early, so now it's Valentine's Day and I don't have anything for her, and that's not cool. Because even though I already gave it to her, in her mind, she's, you know, it's not the same. So I'll pick her something up little over in that area when I'm over there. So for now, peace out.